Into another G.I. Joe toy review. We're here today. We will be looking at the Slaughter's Renegade version of Mercer, or otherwise known on the file card as Mercenary. But before we get to Mercenary, we do our weekly shoutouts of the week, starting with Back to the Media at 41 South Loudon Street here in Winchester, Virginia, at the beautiful Walking Mall. Where, as you can tell by the picture right there, you see they're into video games and dating all the way back to the Atari, all the way up to current systems, like the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and all the other new stuff they got out. So go ahead and check them out. And while you're in the neighborhood, go over to 115 South Loudon Street on the other side of the splash pad and check out Time Travelers, Toys and Collectibles, and see Charles and Jack, and to see what they provide. Scroll down the videos down to my walkthrough video I did with them a few weeks ago, and you can check them out. And for all your comic book needs, go to 4Color Fantasies at 80 Weems Lane here in Winchester, where you can get new titles, back issues, get role-playing stuff, collector supplies, and so on and so forth. You get all the older Marvel, DC issues, which is primarily where I get all my Marvel run of the G.I. Joe comic book. So go ahead and check them out. And last but not least, do our shout out to Healing Grace Community Services, Counseling Services at 133 West Pascowan Street, Suite number 10. And to go furthermore with Healing Grace, I will let the proprietor of the establishment do the shouting out with Dr. Robert C. Brown.
Actually, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. Anyway, my name's Rob Brown. I am a licensed professional counselor here in Winchester for 12 years. I've been licensed for just about 20 years. I reach clients of all walks of life, take several insurances, most importantly Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, Cigna, and Optima Health, which are the four biggest companies in our area. And I want to do a shout out to the recovery community in our area, who is always on the front lines of dealing with people who are struggling with addiction. I'm speaking of your 12-step programs like Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Al-Anon, which reaches out to family members and loved ones of people struggling with alcohol addiction, as well as our 12-step faith-based communities like Celebrate Recovery. We have two here in Winchester. One is on Thursday nights at Winchester Church of God, affectionately known as WinCog, meets at 6:30 on Thursday nights. And then there's another on Monday nights at 6:30 that meets at the Mountain View Church of Christ. That is Celebrate Recovery, a Christ-based 12-step program. In this type of time of year during the holidays, people are struggling with a lot of mental health issues, a lot of grief issues, as well as addictions. And we have to recognize that we're all in this together. No one overcomes it alone. Take it away, Mark.
All right, and also, before we also get to Mercer, we have another special guest host. We'll get Rob on his review of Mercenary, but we also have Mrs. Dr. Robert Brown. Wow. His wonderful wife, Stephanie, will also be giving her opinions on Mercenary. And more on them later. So we'll start with, as always, the file card, which actually came on the Slaughter's Marauders 7-pack box set. As you can tell with the plain cardboard back, it was actually part of the box. But it goes codename Felix Mercenary Stratton, Demolitions, which he was also known as Mercer in the 1987 animated movie, but more on that later. And his file name is Felix P. Stratton, grade is the E5 Sergeant. His hometown is Tahoe, New Mexico. His primary weapon is a submachine gun. His combat gear is a pistol, knife, and ammo vest. The text reads, Felix Mercenary Stratton is the only Cobra Viper to defect to the G.I. Joe team and survive. He joined Cobra for the adventure and promise of material gain, but soon grown dissatisfied with the Cobra philosophy. To escape Cobra Island, and he's here on Cobra Island. He didn't escape too far. He hot-wired a hydrofoil and outran his pursuers. He brings to the team a proficiency with small arms and explosive devices, and inside information about Cobra. It gives a very good detailed description. We'll start with his accessories, starting with his figure stand with the upraised G.I. Joe logo and Mercenary on the front. And his weapons here's his submachine gun, done in gray plastic, which is pretty cool looking. And he also has his little pistol, which is this here, which actually came with a silencer, but I misplaced the silencer. And he also comes with a combat knife, which I actually also misplaced, which goes right there in the vest. But taking a look at this guy, he's got the somewhat military high-top crew cut going on with his Caucasian skin tone, with his little, I'm going to kick your arse kind of look on his face. With his combat vest, with the ammo strap, the knife holster, grenade, kind of look reminiscent of the Cobra Viper vest. With his blue trousers, black knee pads, his black boots, and the little Cobra symbol with the circle dash symbol, whatever you call that, on his arm. Looking at his articulation, his head does rotate the full 360. Arm can raise to the side so high, and his arm can rotate the full 360 all the way around. Bends at the elbow somewhat. He can rotate at the bicep, swivel at the wrist. He does have the ab crunch twist motion, but it's kind of obstructed by the web gear, which is cool. His legs could he almost do a full splits. Mm-hmm. Leg can lift 90 degrees. So I can get it to the knee joint. He does have a double knee bend.
That's nice.
If it will work for me. This leg does a better job at it, as you can see it. Mm-hmm. Double knee joint. He can bend at the ankle, as well as swivel at the ankle. So let's take a look at him in his battle gear. So here's Mercer in his ring gear, or in his battle gear. But before I give my thoughts, I'll let Dr. Rob give his thoughts on what he thinks of Mercenary.
Well, Mark, I never really grew up watching or playing with G.I. Joes. I was more into playing in my treehouse and playing in the woods and things like that. When I look at this character, though, I would love to see how he would do in a straight-up fight against the Punisher from the Marvel Universe. I think that'd be a good fight.
Yeah, they're both in Marvel, so, it kind of works.
Yeah, it'd be cool to kind of watch those two go at it. Frank Castle versus Mercenary. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and Stephanie, give your little thoughts to the guy.
Yeah, well, when I first looked at Mercenary, I thought, a mercenary is somebody that is hired professionally to serve in a foreign army. So to me, I thought it was interesting that his outfit does not represent what I would think typical American military. Have the blue pants and the red vest and side holders, and I think he's properly armed, and he looks like he's a force to be reckoned with his face. So yeah, and I have an 8-year-old boy, so I like the accessories that come with it. It's small enough, like Legos, to play with. And so I have an 8-year-old son. He's over there. Say hi.
Hello, Leo.
And so I've been supporting Mark for years now. I didn't grow up like my husband with G.I. Joes. I played with different things like Barbies and paper dolls and outside a lot. But I think they do a great job of presenting. Is that Maytel? Is that
Hasbro?
Hasbro does a really good detailed job with their products. So,
and my thought process, he is highly colorfully uniformed. Of course, he is kind of like, the whole perception of him is he's a renegade soldier, a former Cobra officer, so he's got that rugged Cobra kind of motif with him. Mm-hmm. So I would rank this as a top tier figure, just because of his role and his knowledge of the enemy, so to speak, for the G.I. Joe team. That knowledge of enemy inside enemy information tends to work out for the group.
Okay.
You know, and in the animated movie, which was his only appearance in any form of G.I. Joe media, you know, he was more of the rugged, in your face, kind of like with the other two members of the Renegades that I got here, Taurus and Red Dog, and which actually goes into, you know, but like I said, you can see the vintage version of him done with Form BX257's videos. You know, unfortunately, HCC 788 hasn't gotten to him yet, or the other two Renegades, but in due time, hopefully he gets better. So here's my shout out to Hoodie Coco. You know, my thoughts are still with you, brother. But, you know, I would rate this as a top tier. You know, tune in next week as we do Taurus, and the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, we'll be doing Red Dog, which I'll most likely have Dr. Rob with me again for football puns.
Yeah, I'm gonna like that one.
But tune in next week for Taurus. This has been Mercer. I'd like to thank Dr. Rob and Stephanie for joining us on the video this week. And a surprise shout out to Mr. Liam. So tune us in the next one. Y'all have a good one. And that's for Cobra Island. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. See y'all in the next one.